Can you win in streaming without going through the bundlers? I mean, do you have to be on Hulu? Do you have to be on YouTube? Or can you do it directly? Is your product strong enough?
You know, we don't know. Everywhere else in the world, we're on almost every skinny bundle. Here in the U.S., we're in most of them. We're not on Hulu, and we're not on YouTube, but we're on most of the others. And people love our channels. And so, one, we think that over time we'll get on those skinny bundles. We hope to. We'd like to partner with our distributors because they helped us build our business. And in many cases we are. We're partnering with AT&T on DirecTV Now. We partner with Brian on Comcast on his offerings, with Charter. So that's the best way to do it, kind of regionally. But there is an opportunity for us to go direct to consumer ourselves, which we're already doing in a number of areas, in cars and in sports. But we could also go to those big companies. If you take a look at what NBC, ABC, CBS, and Fox spent 3 years ago, and how much is being spent by Amazon, Netflix, Apple, and Google, you know, there's a massive amount of share shift that's going on there. And these are real global companies, the likes of which we've never seen before. So if any one of those companies wanted to offer for $5.99 a compelling family-friendly service, you know, we would either be most of it, we would argue we'd like to be most of it, or we could be all of it and see how it goes. Because anywhere you go in the world and you say Discovery or Animal Planet or ID or Oprah, people know our brands and they value them.
How will you make that decision about whether you go direct to consumer or you go through middlemen, essentially? How do you make that decision as CEO?
Well, look, right now it's not a fair fight because the direct-to-consumer businesses, the Netflix, the Amazons, we in media used to trade at about a 14 multiple because the view was that this great dual revenue stream cable and free-to-air business would go on forever. And the view now is that it's getting disrupted by some of these direct-to-consumer platforms that are global. There's a question of who's going to emerge and be the winner. We think, looking now, it's only the second or third inning, but we've carved out a very compelling spot of quality brands that people love, that we can offer globally, and we could offer them ourselves. You know, as you look across Europe or here in the U.S., you see Randall having to compete with those big companies. And he's looking at AT&T as an opportunity to own IP to help decommoditize his platform that he spent so much money on.
You talk about disruption in media. There was a time not too long ago when you were the disruptor in chief, in some sense. I watched you from Capital Cities ABC across the street as you created MSNBC and NBC. You created CNBC. How does this compare with that disruption when you disrupted broadcast? Basic cable came in and really disrupted it. How does it compare? What did you learn from that experience you can apply now?
Patience. In that case, Jack Welch and Bob Wright were committed to try and take the broadcast business into cable. For people that were around at that time, it was pretty unusual. And it's important because the business that you think you're going to launch that's going to work is never the business that works. The audience is always going to tell you what they get nourished by. And that's what our business is about. That's what most businesses are about. When we launched with Oprah, the Oprah Winfrey Network, we had a dream, Oprah and I, that it was going to be about living your best life. And we looked strategically at the space and said, we can do this. But when we went out with the content, Super Soul Sunday worked terrific, but a lot of the other stuff was too earnest and the audience went away. And we had to figure out, what are they going to come back for? And it took us a lot of years, but we started to listen. What do you like? That's what our business is about. We don't want everyone to watch, but the Oprah Winfrey Network now is the #1 network for African American women. So for us now, we've broken our company in half, essentially. We got half the company that's about growing our channels, doing what we believe we can do as well or better than anyone in the world. Then there's a whole group that has to figure out, okay, how do I get over the top? What do people want when they consume content over the top, you know? And I think you have to be willing to recognize failure and use it kind of optimistically. Good, we know that now.